for the package. There is a lang package, that means this is related to language, and this lang package is the part of the Java package. That's why it is written here, that is java.lang.throwable. What is the meaning of it? Throwable is a class that belongs to a package that is named as a lang, and lang is a subpackage of a package that is named as a Java. Clear? So in the case of the exception, throwable is the base class. Throwable is the root class of Java exception hierarchy. Among this throwable class, sorry, for this throwable class, there are two parts. Okay, or you can say there are two subclass basically. One is known as the exception and another is known as the error. Most of the time you will see that in most of the books or in case of net material, you will get that two part, that is exception and error. Both are used as a similar word, but no, there is a slight difference between these two parts. Okay, we will explain it now. Just think about that part, that throwable is the superclass, and for this superclass there are two child class. One is known as the exception and another is known as the error. And these are the example for the exception, that is IO exception, SQL exception, class not found exception, and runtime exception. Okay, these are the example. These are the specific type of the exception basically. Then you can deal with it. And for this runtime exception, most of the time you will get this type of exception, that is arithmetic exception, null pointer exception, number format exception. Look at this, the name specify that which type of exception is happening here. Okay, arithmetic exception, that means what is happening, that is sometimes in your source code there is some numerical problem and you have done any part that is not normal. That is, if you divide 0 a number, if you want to divide it by 0, then what will happen? This is an example for the arithmetic exception, and this exception will be happen during the runtime. Okay, so these are the scenario. Just go through it, that what are the several type of exception and under which exception what are the sub exception basically. Okay, because you need to know that whenever you will deal the exception handling mechanism, you need to know the hierarchy. You need to know the hierarchy of the exception classes basically. Okay, if you don't know the hierarchy of exception, then it will be a problematic to handle this exception in an efficient way. Okay, and now go for this error. There is also another type of expression. You can just check in this figure, that is index out of bound exception. That what is index out of bound? In this part you will get that array index out of bound exception and string index out of bound exception. What is the meaning of it? Suppose in your array you have provided 10 numbers and you want to access the 11th position of that array, then definitely it will get that array index out of bound. Okay, so these are the several type of exception. Now move on to the error part. Just go for the example right now, then I will explain you what is the difference between these two. Now for error, look at this type of error or this type of abnormal situation that may occur in your code. Basically, whenever you will deal this error type, then that means it cannot be recoverable. Look at this example, that is stack overflow error. If you are using stack structure to store the data in memory, and then you want to store as much as the data that will exceed the limit of the stack, then this type of error will happen. Okay, and it is not recoverable by your source code because this is limited resource. This is basically for limited resource. Next one is, that is the virtual machine error. It can also be not recoverable. Out of memory error. This type of error or this type of situation cannot be recoverable. That's why it falls into a special category that is named as an error. But look at this, whenever you will deal this type of abnormal condition, or you can say that is the exception, this exception can be handled, but error cannot be handled. Okay. Now look at this. Whenever we will deal with the exception, there are basically two type of exception. First one is known as the checked exception, and second one is known as the unchecked exception. But this is mainly two type of exception basically. But according to the Oracle categorize this abnormal situation as a three type. That is, first one is checked exception, another one is unchecked exception, and third one is error. Okay, so what is the meaning for this checked exception? So whenever we will deal with this checked exception, just go for this. It directly inherits the Soebel class. That's it is already I have told you that Soebel is the superclass. And for checked exception, it will be checked during the compile time. The checked exception that can be checked during the compile time. This is the main reason why it is called the checked exception, that you can get the idea that which type of exception is happening in your code and how it can be recoverable. You can deal with this. Okay, the best example for the checked exception that will be checked during the compile time, it is known as the IO exception. It is known as the SQL exception. If you do lots of program using the IO, that is for input output, then you will get this type of exception. Okay, now you are familiar, I think you are familiar with this part, that how the IO can be handled in case of any Java code. Okay, that means how you can take input from the keyboard, take input from the users, as well as you can show the output in your screen. Okay, this type of input output operation, whenever you can deal with this, at that time you can get this type of exception, and this exception can be handled during the compile time. Now if you want to deal with any database related activities, at that time you can get this SQL exception. Can anyone of you tell me that what is the full form of SQL? Can anyone of you tell me that what is an SQL, full form of SQL? Are you familiar with database?
Yes, madam.
Then I think you are familiar with SQL, the database language. What is the
Yes,
full
madam.
form of it? Anyone?
Structured query language.
Yeah, very good. Can why it is structured? Query language is fine. That means it will provide the output of some query. But the next question is that why it will be structured? Why it is named so that it is structured?
Ma'am, for relational standard language for relational database management.
For relational database, you are using the SQL statement to get the answer from any query language, for any query basically. But why this named as a structured? There is a specific reason behind it. Pratik, am I audible to you? Pratik, can you tell me that why it is structured? Look at this. There are
I don't know, ma'am.
Okay. If anyone from the remaining, this is a suggestion for all of you that for each and every subject, I think there are some predefined set of questions. Okay, that predefined set of questions is asked for general interview. Whenever you will go for the database management system, the first very beginning thing is will be asked that which type of language you will use to deal with any database related activities. And definitely you will go for the SQL because in your course curriculum SQL is included. Okay, so whenever you will do that, at the very beginning you need to know that what is the meaning of it. You all know that for database management system there are two parts, that is the procedural language and non-procedural. Okay, so try to summarize this set of question. I try to get the answer for it. Anyone from the remaining can answer. This is, look at, this is not related to directly related to Java programming language. But this Java programming language, whenever you will use this language in any real life application, at that time you need to deal with some data. And definitely all of you know that whenever there is a large set of data, you need to go for the concept for DBMS, database management system. And that database management system, that means this data will be stored in some memory position, and that will be efficiently retrieved, that need to be efficiently retrieved. For that purpose, if you use some say that Java language, okay, then these two language must be combined. Whenever you directly want to access the data from the database management system, you can go for the query language, that is the structured query language. And then you want to relate it with some web page related activity. That means just think about that, but you want to create some website, and for that website you need to store some data in backend. In the backend there is some database management system. Then what you need to do, you need to combine these two part. That is, first one is Java programming language and the second one is the structured query language. So I just want to say you that at the very end, whatever the subject that you have learned in your BTech course curriculum, you will see that all these subject will be a single unit. Your networking subject, your DBMS subject, your operating system subject, that core subject, all this subject is related to a single unit whenever you want to deal a single application. If you have a full grip on this subject, then it will be more easier to you. So try to search this query that why it is called structured. If you are unable to do that, I will definitely tell you the answer. Okay, but try to do it for each and every subject. Okay, now we'll move for our next part. That is the unchecked exception. What is the unchecked exception? I have just discussed you. The checked exception means it will be checked during the compile time. Now there are several exceptions, several abnormal conditions basically that can be checked during the runtime, that will not be checked during the compile time. Okay, and this type of exception will be fall in the category of the unchecked exception. Okay, this unchecked exception basically inherit the exception, that is runtime exception. This runtime exception is the main class from which will inherit all the unchecked exception, because this unchecked exception will happen during the execution time. Okay, this is a certain example for this exception, that is arithmetic, null pointer, array index out of bound, like that. Okay, now there is third point that I have already told you. What is error? Error is some situation that cannot be recoverable. Error is such situation in your code that cannot be recoverable. You can't handle it. Okay, because this some example of this type of error exception, error condition basically, that is out of memory, that is virtual machine error, accession error, like that. Okay, so three things I have told you. That is, first one is whenever some abnormal condition will be checked during the compile time, it will fall in the category of the checked exception. If some abnormal condition will be checked during the runtime, it will be fall in the unchecked exception. And if some abnormal condition that cannot be handled, that cannot be recoverable, basically not handle, you can specifically say it that it cannot be recoverable. So this type of abnormal condition will fall in the category of error. Now the next very important thing or next very question is that how you can handle this type of abnormal situation. How you can handle this type of abnormal situation. Look at this, for Java there are basically 5 keywords through which you can handle the abnormal condition that will arise, that may arise in your source code. Sometimes you can do it knowingly, sometimes you will do it unknowingly basically. Okay, but knowingly or unknowingly what you have done, that is that abnormal situation. This can be deal with these five number of keywords basically. First one is try, second one is catch, third one is finally, and the last two is throw and throws. Extra a's is here. And look at this finally keyword, or finally block. Basically this is nothing but a block actually. This is already explained to you whenever we have deal with the keyword in Java. And at that time, I have explained you that we will deal it in details whenever we will study the exception handling. Okay, so this is our third keyword. So first try to do the first keyword, that is try. What is the meaning of this try keyword and why we will use this try keyword? Basically, this keyword is used to specify some block. Okay, where you will store your source code. That source code may contain or may not contain any exception. Okay, just think about that part. You want to examine that whether a block of code will contain an exception or not. That means you have a doubt that this set of source code can get some error. Sorry, can get some exception. Okay, or abnormal condition. At this time, you will enclose this block within the try keyword. So you can think about that way in your source code. If there is a 10 number of lines that I have just explained you at the very beginning, and you may have a doubt that at the line number 5 there may be some abnormal condition. So that you, if you want to deal with that statement, you can enclose that statement with the try keyword. And definitely whenever there is a try keyword, that set of instruction may contain any abnormal condition, that means that condition must be handled by some other block or by some other set of code or other set of instruction. That set of instruction will be enclosed in the catch block. Basically, in the try block, we want to examine that whether there is an abnormal condition or not. And if there is an abnormal condition that will happen in the try block, then there will be a corresponding catch block basically. That catch block will handle the exception. This catch block will handle the exception. There are lots of other things, that there may be the nested try catch statement, there may be a try statement within another try, there may be for single try statement, there may be multiple catch statement. That are different thing. But for the beginning classes, that you can think about the part that whether you want to examine any source code for a abnormal condition, you must enclose the set of code within the try block. And if you provide a try block in your source code, then you must provide one catch block against it. What is the purpose of this catch block? That in your try block, if there is an abnormal condition, then, or if there is an exception, then the handling mechanism of that exception will be included into the catch block. Clear? This is the meaning of this two part. And finally, I have already explained to you why this finally block will be used. Finally block means whether there is a presence of abnormal condition or not in your source code, this finally block will be executed. Whether there is an exception or not in your source code, whatever be the instruction you will enclose within this finally block, that must be executed. So if there is some necessary code that you have already know about it, that necessary action must be completed before the termination of your program, then definitely you will enclose that set of instruction within this finally block. So through this block you can also handle the exception. That's why it is your third keyword basically. Okay, Now, what is the meaning of this throw and throws? Throw keyword is used for some time. It may be the case that we want to create some abnormal condition or exception by your own way. You want to create new exception basically. Okay, so at that time this throw keyword will be used, that now you want to throw an exception in your source code. Okay, you want to create your own exception, user defined exception. So at that time this throw keyword will be used. Okay, now whenever you will create any exception by your own, this throws keyword will be used. In which way? This throws keyword will be used to declare the exception. What is the meaning of it? Meaning of it that in some certain code, in some certain method, you just throw one exception. You want to throw one exception. That means that class or that method must be aware of the part that this throwing exception must be handled by this particular part in which it is defined. But sometimes it looks in your source code that in the method in which it is defined or in which it is created, that method is unable to handle this exception. So what will happen? This method which will contain an exception, if that method is inherited by some child class, then that child class will also contain that exception, and it is a chain system. If there is some hierarchical fashion for the inheritance of the class, then that exception will belong to the in the chain system, that it will be continue for the all the subclasses. And sometimes it will happen that the subclass will be unaware of the fact that the superclass will contain an exception. So it is the rule for Java that whenever you are creating any exception in a method, and that method is unable to handle that exception, and that class or that method is inherited by some other method or used by some other method, then definitely you will use this throws keyword to mention that part, that which method you have inherited that will contain an exception. So you need to handle that exception by your own way. Okay, that means specifying this set of code or this method is containing an exception. So if you just want to reuse this method, or if you want to access this method, you need to handle this exception by your own way. Otherwise, your program may be terminated. That is the normal scenario basically, that whenever you don't deal with any exception, that exception may cause your program to terminate abruptly. Okay, so now clear that what is the, we'll go for some example of this, all of this keyword. Now this is the basic case, or this is the basic scenario, or you can say this is the pillar for exception handling mechanism. This try statement, try keyword, basically these are known as a keyword. But in your source code, you will look that this keyword is enclosed with a block basically. Okay, so try keyword will be used to examine a block, that whether there is an exception or not. If there is an exception, then this try block will must contain a catch block to catch the exception as well as to handle the exception. Okay, and next one is the finally, that where if there is an exception in your source code and there is an abnormal termination of the source code, then you can do some necessary action or necessary statement or instruction in your source code. You can write down it within the finally block, so that before terminating this program, this finally block will be executed. That means all the necessary action must be completed. Just like the file open or file close. You all know that whenever a file will be open for reading some data from that file must be closed before terminating the program. So it may be an example for a necessary action. Okay, so you can write down this type of necessary action within the finally block. This finally block will be executed for the must. Whether there is a presence of exception, you are handling this exception or not. Whatever be the fact, this finally block will all time executed. Okay. Now the next two are the these are basically related to that whenever you want to create your own exception. Okay. This throw keyword will be used to throw a new exception. That may be user defined exception. That may be user defined exception. Okay. And when the throws keyword will be used, if a method is throwing a exception and that method is unable to handle that exception, at that time throws keyword will be used for the next section in which this method is used to declare that part that the method will containing a exception. The method is basically containing an exception so that the next part or the next section or the subclass they can handle the exception in its own way. Okay, these are the five keywords. So any doubt or any query related to this five keyword? Kuntal, can you hear me? Shivdas,
হ্যালো ম্যাম, হ্যালো।
hello.
এগুলো একটু এক্সাম্পল দেখিয়ে দিলে ভালো হতো, মানে এগুলো
You will
সাথে
this is the theory part only. We will go for the example also. For each and every scenario, look at this. This try statement or this try keyword will contain lots of example. Okay, and I think I can show you one example for this class only, and then the next class, that means for tomorrow, we will show you another example. Look at this. Definitely, we will show example. Otherwise, we will not get the exact idea of it. Look at this. What is happening? Here is a class, and within this class, this is the public static void main. That means within the main method, we are doing one particular instruction. That is, we are initializing one variable that is named as a data, and within this data variable, we want to perform one arithmetic operation. That is, we are dividing 100 by 0. Okay, this is the instruction in this whole class. That is one arithmetic instruction we are performing in this class. That is the data variable. This variable basically containing a value, want to containing a value. That value is nothing but a number divided by 0. That is 100 divided by 0. Definitely this is an abnormal condition, and we all know that you can't define this type of arithmetic expression, arithmetic operation here. But just tell me that what is the output if you just want to divide any number by 0? If you want to divide any number by 0, is it possible?
নো ম্যাম।
So it is an abnormal situation. This is an abnormal condition that is happening in your source code. So what you have done here, you want to handle this type of instruction. There is a doubt in your mind that this type of instruction may contain an abnormal situation. So what is the mechanism for it to deal with it? You need to enclose this type of instruction within the try block. This is the try keyword. You are opening the block here, you are closing the block here. And whenever you will go for the try block, that means you need to define a catch block. Catch block means what is happening whenever this type of instruction will be executed in Java by the Java compiler. What will happen? It will create an object basically, and that object will be thrown to this method. And whenever this object, this exception object, is thrown to this method in which it is happening, then this method will search for the corresponding catch block, which catch block will contain the contain the object basically. This E is nothing but that object which is created in this statement. Whenever this statement is executed by the Java compiler, then an object will be created. That object will be in the type of arithmetic exception. So that object must be catched by the corresponding catch block. So this is
ম্যাম
basic. Yes, tell me.
বলছি তাহলে ডিফারেন্সটা কি থাকলো তাহলে ট্রাই আর থ্রোজ এর মধ্যে, থ্রোর মধ্যে? আমরা তো এখানেও তো মানে এখানে যেটা লিখছি এটাতেও তো মানে এক্সেপশন আছে, মানে
দেখো,
থ্রোটাতে নিজে থেকে এটাতে তো
বলতে তুমি নিজে থেকে একটা এক্সেপশন ক্রিয়েট করছো। You are creating an exception by your own type, user defined exception. With that, this type of exception is already predefined. এখানে তুমি একটা ইনস্ট্রাকশনকে এক্সিকিউট করছো, যে ইনস্ট্রাকশনটা এক্সিকিউট করার জন্য একটা অ্যাবনর্মাল কন্ডিশন তৈরি হচ্ছে। সেই অ্যাবনর্মাল কন্ডিশনের জন্য একটা তোমার অবজেক্ট হচ্ছে ক্রিয়েট হচ্ছে, ঠিক আছে? যেটা হচ্ছে তোমার এরিথমেটিক টাইপ অফ এক্সেপশন, যেটাকে তুমি ক্যাচ ব্লকের মধ্যে হোল্ড করছো। আর তারপরে তুমি সেটাকে শো করছো যে কি ধরনের এক্সেপশন ক্রিয়েট হচ্ছে। কিন্তু তুমি যখন থ্রো কিওয়ার্ডটা ইউজ করবে, তখন তুমি কি করবে? ম্যানুয়ালি থ্রো করবে। তুমি ম্যানুয়ালি হচ্ছে কোনো একটা এক্সেপশনকে থ্রো করছো। এখানে কি হচ্ছে? এই মেথডটার মধ্যে এই এক্সেপশনটা তৈরি হচ্ছে, এই অবজেক্টটা তৈরি হচ্ছে, ক্রিয়েট হচ্ছে এই অবজেক্টটা। যখনই এই অ্যাবনর্মাল কন্ডিশনটা পাচ্ছে, তখনই এই অবজেক্টটা ক্রিয়েট হচ্ছে। এই অবজেক্টটাকেই তুমি ক্যাচ ব্লকের মধ্যে হোল্ড করছো এবং সেটাকে তুমি শো করছো জানার জন্য যে কি ধরনের এক্সেপশন তৈরি হয়েছে। যেমন এটাকে যখনই তুমি শো করবে, তখন তোমার কি হবে? যে এই স্টেটমেন্টটা তোমাকে দেখাবে, এই স্ট্যাক ট্রেসটা তোমাকে দেখাবে যে এই ধরনের এক্সেপশন তোমার ক্রিয়েট হচ্ছে। আর তুমি থ্রো করছো মানে তুমি স্বইচ্ছায় একটা এররকে, একটা এক্সেপশনকে তৈরি করছো নিজের ইচ্ছায়, ঠিক আছে? নিজের ইচ্ছায় তুমি একটা এক্সেপশনকে ক্রিয়েট করছো। এখানে তো তুমি জানো না যে এই এক্সেপশনটা এটা আদৌ এক্সেপশনাল স্টেটমেন্ট কিনা। তোমার মনে একটা ডাউট রয়েছে যে এই স্টেটমেন্টগুলোর মধ্যে একটা এক্সেপশন তৈরি হতে পারে, অ্যাবনর্মাল সিচুয়েশন তৈরি হতে পারে। তাই জন্য সেটাকে তুমি একটা কি করছো? ট্রাই ব্লকের মধ্যে এনক্লোজ করছো। আমি যখন আমি তোমাকে থ্রো এর এক্সাম্পল দেখাবো, থ্রোতে তুমি কি করবে? তুমি নিজের মতো এক্সেপশনকে থ্রো করতে চাও। দ্যাট ইজ ইউজার ডিফাইন্ড এক্সেপশন, ইউজার ডিফাইন্ড, প্রিডিফাইন্ড, হোয়াটএভার বি দ্যাট। তুমি একটা এক্সেপশনকে নিজে থেকে থ্রো করতে চাইছো, নিজে থেকে তোমার সোর্স কোডের মধ্যে ক্রিয়েট করতে চাইছো, তখন তুমি থ্রো কিওয়ার্ড ইউজ করবে। বুঝতে পেরেছো দুটোর মধ্যে ডিফারেন্স কোথায়? এখানে এখানে এটা তৈরি হচ্ছে, ওখানে তুমি নিজে থেকে হচ্ছে নিজে মানে নোয়িংলি তুমি তৈরি করছো। এখানে যেটা তৈরি হচ্ছে সেটা হচ্ছে আননোয়িংলি তৈরি হচ্ছে। দেয়ার ইজ এ লজিক্যাল এক্সেপশন বেসিক্যালি। এটা হয় না, কিন্তু তুমি মানে লিখে ফেলেছো, তার জন্য একটা হচ্ছে অবজেক্ট ক্রিয়েট হচ্ছে। আর ওখানে তুমি জেনে বুঝে তৈরি করছো, একটা এক্সেপশনকে জেনে বুঝে তৈরি করছো, যেমন তোমার সোর্স কোডের মধ্যে। তারপরে তুমি সেটাকে হ্যান্ডেল করছো নিজের মতো করে। দুটোর মধ্যে ডিফারেন্স হচ্ছে এটা। এটা হচ্ছে নর্মাল সিনারিও, যখন একটা এক্সেপশন হচ্ছে তোমার তৈরি হবে, আর সেই এক্সেপশনটা কিভাবে হচ্ছে তোমার হ্যান্ডেল হবে। দিস ইজ দ্য নর্মাল কেস, that an exception is happening in your source code and you are dealing this exception. Okay, তার জন্য নর্মাল যে syntax, that is the try catch block. The set of source code you need to write down within the try block, and for a particular try block there must be a corresponding catch block, so that if there is an exception, that means an object will be created and that object will be returned back to this method, and this method will search for a particular catch, corresponding catch block basically. এই ক্যাচ ব্লকের মধ্যে টাইপটা খুঁজে পাবে, তাহলে এখানে হচ্ছে তোমার অবজেক্টটাকে আমি শো করব। তারপরে এসওপি এর মধ্যে if you want, you don't need to write down this SOP statement also, just create the block. But this is a normal scenario that we'll use this SOP, this system.out.println, to know the type of the exception. Okay, and এই প্রোগ্রামটার মধ্যে আরেকটা যেটা পার্ট তোমাদেরকে দেখানো, দ্যাট ইজ দিস রেস্ট অফ দ্য কোড। রেস্ট অফ দ্য কোড মিন্স there is another instruction that is show you the rest of the code statement. Okay, so What is happening in case of if you don't write this try and catch block and you just write down in data equal to 100 by 0, then this SOP, then what will happen? Then what will happen? Then there will be the termination of the program and it will show you this type of exception. But the remaining section, that means this SOP statement will not be executed. That's why it is the main USP of error handling mechanism, that if you use this error handling mechanism, the remaining source code will not be hampered. এখানে একটা statement আছে, there may be a lots of other statement that will be executed in its own way. That's why you need to know about the exception handling mechanism. Clear it? Clear to all of you? Any doubt till now? Any doubt? Promita?
Yes, ma'am, understood.
Okay, fine. Please, who is querying to me? I'm not getting the name. Any doubt for that student?
No, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So let me take your attendance to another class. Okay. We can leave this class right now and try to study the exception handling. We will discuss it in details in the next class, and I will also show you some example also.
Thank you, madam.